Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to ARLENE Spiritcast. If you're new to this podcast, we talk about all things related to mindfulness, meditation, magic, astrology, tarot, anything in that realm. Today, we wanted to discuss the current Ascension energies. We're social distancing right now, so if we sound a little bit different, it's because we're both at our homes, not,
Yeah, we're literally way far apart right now, and it's extremely important to practice social distancing, self-quarantine, self-isolate, stay home. Just stay home. I think with what's happening right now, it's totally cool to want to tune out and not let this affect you on an energetic level, but it is very reckless and not a good move to blatantly ignore the advice from the CDC, the World Health Organization, and professionals about this pandemic that we're in. If you do leave the house, wear a mask, wear a face cover. Unfortunately, people are still forced to be at their jobs if they're essential, and it's important to protect yourself. Not only for your safety, but for the safety of others, so we can all leave our homes soon, so we can all return to some sense of normalcy. Be cautious. And what's happening right now is a literal representation of how we all have an impact on this world and on other people on more than just an energetic level, physically, on all levels. So be mindful. Be mindful of your energy. Be mindful of your actions that you're taking. Just be mindful.
Yeah. So, I guess as a good example, like this is a global pandemic, and it's a great reflection of how interconnected we all are. And I agree. With that in mind, I would adhere to the social distancing and, the light, just so you don't get somebody else sick if you're not afraid of getting, being sick yourself. But anyways, there's a lot of fear going on right now, a lot of worry, a lot of doubt, and you might be experiencing all of that. And we just want to remind you that you have a spiritual practice. We're assuming you do if you're listening to this. When you do feel that way, call on your spirit team, use those tools that you've been developing all of this time, meditating. Like, it's fine to meditate and reach out to your guides when everything's okay, but it's a really good idea to do it whenever it's not okay, because that's what they're there for. They're your spirit team.
They're your team. We all incarnated into this plane with our team. They are here. They're always with you. You have to ask, law of free will. You have to ask for assistance with things that you are having issues with. You have to call upon them. Call upon them. Have a conversation. It's not hard. Just start talking. Talk to the sky. Talk to the air. Start talking.
Yeah.
And see if you hear a response.
Yes, I mean, like right now, if you're really worried.
I'm like super aggressive right now. I gotta take a chill pill. Literally, like, we'll touch on it further, but like, I know when this happened, and things got super real. I felt a super disconnect from source. I felt a super low. My vibration dropped significantly, and I felt like a crippling depression for 2 weeks, pretty much. It's easy to feed into all the chaos and feed into the worry and fear,
yeah,
and let it drag you down. Then you have to remember to ground. You have to ground.
Yeah. So, I feel like this episode is gonna be a the condensed, Spark Notes edition of everything we plan on talking about. We could do a full episode on in its own right. Like Age of Aquarius, the Ascension energies, the energies that are trying to fight that progress. We could talk about the Ascension symptoms, which we're definitely going to talk on in a minute. And I would even say, what your job is as a light worker, starseed, healer, mystic, whatever you want to call yourself. If you identify with that other, you're here for a reason. Like if you're listening to this episode right now, I don't think it's a coincidence. First off.
Yeah.
And you probably would resonate with what we're gonna like chat about. But a lot of us here are incarnated to help hold that light. And right now more than ever, we need it. So before we start talking about the ascension energies and some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing, I want to take a quick break. So we do have a sponsor. We're just going to put that up real quick. It's only 30 seconds. And then I do want to also remind everybody to be of service. And a way you can be of service is by donating to your local food bank or to Feed America, which we'll link down below. All right.
Hey guys, we just want to take a second to let you know where you can find us at. You can listen to our podcast on all major podcasting networks like Stitcher, iTunes, and more. You can also follow us on Instagram at ETTA_ARLENE, on Twitter at edpro_PGH, on Pinterest at ETTA_ARLENE, on Tumblr at ETTA_ARLENE, and you can go to our website to subscribe for some Reiki. Thanks for listening.
Okay, let's go into some of the symptoms. Okay, so right now we're transitioning from some people say actually that it's not like necessarily a transition. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but basically we're going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, and that energy is happening now. It like started. So as a result, there's a lot of these new energies that are we're being flooded with pretty much. And if you started your spiritual awakening, you're one of the like earlier people and you're getting that energy first, from what I understand. And that energy has to integrate. So it might be making you feel weird. So you might have heard of the ascension flu or ascension symptoms. And some of those symptoms that some of these starseed and light workers and the like might be feeling are immense, unexplainable like anxiety. And it's not just the anxiety with the global pandemic, because that is stressful, but just irrational like anxiety where you're like, I thought I worked through this, I thought I had a grip on this, and you just can't get yourself to like relax. Another one is people are saying they can't sleep at night. People are saying they have vivid dreams, a lot of different things like that. And that is because you're getting all this new energy that hasn't necessarily integrated, among other things. So if you are empathic or you are a starseed light worker, whatever, you're also getting hit with like the energy of the collective. And there's a lot of healing going on right now. That being said, there's a lot of purging of energy and a lot of like past issues that we're all working through on a global level, but also on an individual level. I know that I was talking to ARLENE and I was telling her, last week I felt like I was working through things that I had already worked through.
Yeah, you already like processed.
Yeah, so a lot of shadow work will be going on in this time too. So there's a lot of healing. So if you feel weird, it's fine. You're not crazy, but some of that is because of the ascension energies. And you said you were having crazy dreams.
Crazy dreams. So first, I have been suffering from severe insomnia, like for the past 3 weeks now. 3 weeks of just literally, like, there's a solid week where I was only sleeping like 4 hours a night. I couldn't fall asleep, and so I would just stay up. Like, I couldn't fall asleep, so I'd read or study or whatever. Or just sit and, like, worry irrationally about the state of everything. But my dreams, I did notice was that my dreams were really, really, really vivid. And it felt like they were super personal or hyper realistic. Like, even to just today, like last night, I had a crazy, crazy dream. And it literally, as soon as I woke up, I was like, that was a weird dream. I was like, oh, And instantly it was like past life healing. I'm like, okay, this is what we're on right now. This is what we're doing. Like, this is what's happening. Getting hit with just the current reality in the waking state of insanity. Now in my dream state, I'm having immense healing on all levels, past, present, future levels. But my dream last night literally took place in, I don't know, the 1500s. I don't know. I'll have to look it up at some point. But we were in a massive tower, and the people were rising, and there was I looked out this like stone window, cut out, and looked on the hillsides, and there's all these soldiers of different areas coming to try taking over this tower I was in, this castle I was in. That could have been past life healing, which is what I instantly thought, or it could be other messages coming through in that, like maybe something's happening on the astral plane that we're not aware of in our conscious life, but in our sleep state we're able to get in there, and there's actually things happening on that plane in the whole war, spiritual war, blah blah blah, aspect of it. But that's just one example of my dreams. But everything's been super hyper realistic, and I've had a severe emotional aspect to it. Like you could feel the fear gripping. You could feel all the emotions of that point in time that was in that dream. Like I felt all of it, and it was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy.
So it was like a war?
It was literally like, I'm only getting a snippet because like we're recording so far after my dream. I think it's really important, especially right now, to start keeping like a dream journal or just jot it down on a piece of paper and save it for later, because these messages are coming through. Not just messages, but past life healing are coming through, or answers that you've been asking the universe about, or your guides are coming through in your dreams. And even like the slightest thing that you might just write off, like a red bird that flies by in your dream, could be one of the archangels trying to reach out to you, or something significant that you just need to see at a later point in time to understand and get that message to come through.
Yeah.
But this dream last night, it literally was like I was like in a castle, like it was a siege. It was like a siege on a castle, and I don't know who I was, or like it was really old. It could be anywhere between like the 1200s to like the 1500s old, like time period. And it was a siege on a castle, and it was me and like a bunch of other people. It seemed like I was some sort of like nobility or something, and we were at the top of this tower, like locked in with like our guards. And you could like initially, like I looked out the window and saw just like a grassy green hill with like yellow flowers and blue sky, and you could feel the concern, and I could see people's facial expressions. Like there was a huge amount of concern to it. And then I looked at the window again, and there was all these different soldiers coming down. And then someone said, I guess something like, I guess they were united. I don't know, something that I'm gonna have to not share on a podcast.
It's funny. So whenever you started the dream, you heard or felt this is past life healing?
As soon as I woke up, and I was like, that, I thought that was a really crazy dream. Like I literally woke up like hyperventilating, like in a like full on, like I just came out of that intense emotions, and I was shook. I was straight up shook because I felt like I was there. It felt real. It felt like something I lived through. And I thought that was so crazy. And then instantly, that was past life healing. I was like, okay.
That makes sense.
That's what it was. I was shook. Like 100% shook. I'm not someone who has nightmares ever. I don't have nightmares, and I have hyper realistic dreams occasionally, but it's not been on a consistent basis as it has been for the past 3 weeks.
I
been consistently
lucid dream. I do.
You lucid dream, but you also have an extremely artistic mind and are super open to, like, tapped in naturally to that. Whereas me, like, I have a lot of, like, dark night of the soul stuff to cover, and just now and recently in the past couple of years starting to, like, clear those blocks to certain things that I've, built naturally from childhood for things I just closed myself off to. So, yeah.
That's funny because 2 weeks ago, I feel like we were both in that like meltdown mode, but I still feel like I'm healing from that. But I had a dream, so I actually haven't been dreaming as much as I usually do. But the last dream I had was when I was in that weird state, and I dreamt that I was in full armor. Kid you not, just full like old school armor. I don't know what time period. It was like silver, and I remember it being shiny and very like ornate. And I was handed this sword, and I remember I thought, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't, because I felt immense terror. So I don't know what, now that I didn't know, like at first I thought maybe it was, because I've had war dreams before, which have happened all of my life. And our whole family has dreams like that. And I'll disclose a little bit for our listeners. Sometimes there's 6 of us siblings. Sometimes we'll have dreams that match. And a lot of those dreams that match tend to be the war dreams, if you've noticed, Arlene.
Oh, yeah. I have noticed. I think I talked to you about one, like, when life was still normal, like business as usual. I talked to you about a crazy one that I had. When was it? May, January? It was January. I think it was January, February, and it was so bizarre. Same thing. Like, I had like the same like emotional tie, like the feeling. I could feel like I was in it, and this time it was set at a later date. It wasn't in the 1100s or whatever. It was like more. It felt like it was closer to modern time. Like, it was like some weird like alternate dimension that was still mixed with like the 40s and now. Like, it had that feeling of like a World War II-esque reality, but set in modern time. I don't know how to even explain that. Whatever, but I was in some weird like European town. I don't know if it was European, but it was in some small town, and I was there for some unknown reason. I think I was visiting some school for some reason, doing a talk or something, and there was this huge explosion with like, it was like a weird explosion. It was like a glitter, like sparks, like glitter sparks, and really bright white explosion off in the distance you could see above the tree line. And I jumped, and everybody else just like started panicking, and then things started to close really quickly. And someone mentioned, "Oh, and we saw another explosion, a bigger one. This bright white, same thing, sparks of glitter. Like, that's not a normal explosion. What's happening?" And then, so everybody's out on the streets, like, at this point, like, looking like, what's happening? And you hear this, you don't hear anything, you just see it. And the rows of men in these odd, like, uniforms that was dark red, like blood red jackets, and they were marching in like a roll step. Just blank expressions. It was terrifying to me. I felt that terror, like, oh my god, what's happening? And then right after they pass, you see this legion of women in this glistening silver gold, like iridescent armor, hot in pursuit to these gentlemen, like these guys. And what was bizarre was it was all men in the red outfits, and it was all women in the glistening armor. And you could see, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was so weird. And then all of a sudden people like who were standing there, all the women started to join the women in the glistening armor. Because that was allegedly like the town that was getting, like the nearby town that was getting taken over, was like their stronghold. And I remember trying to grab stuff and trying to get other people standing by. I'm like, what are you doing? We need supplies. We need to help them. We need to make sure, like, we need to help people. We need to help and make sure we have enough supplies. Get in your car, like, follow them. Like, your wife just left. Your girlfriend just left. Like, why are you just standing here? Follow. And then I woke up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking back to the armor. Like you said, you had a dream and that you were in armor, and I had that same dream. And that makes me very curious if maybe we had, because we already know from that we've spent lives together.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if those two dreams might have been the same past life healing that maybe we were in war. It could be anything. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who are talking about a like spiritual war in a sense. So I'm sure there's some people who might say it was just the astral plane or something.
Or it was past life healing and astral plane bleeding together.
Yeah, I mean,
that makes somewhat sense to me, but we can talk about the Ascension now.
Yeah, so I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll just start wherever. Right now is a very powerful time energetically speaking. We are going into this new age. It's like begun. And so you have people who got awoken earlier on. And then we're going to have a wave of people who are waking up. And some people have chosen to do the slow route. So you might have been going through your spiritual awakening process over the last, like, I don't know, like 10 years. And now you have other people whose souls have chose to do the accelerated route for whatever reason that is. We know some people like that. We do. We
do.
So how it works is you wake other people up as you go through your spiritual. It's like almost contagious. Like you have an impact, and it might not seem like it because, you know, you have all these people who are like, I don't know, these gurus and stuff, but your soul has chosen a path coming here and has also chosen to incarnate into this life to help with this process. If you're here now and you're listening to this, I'm pretty certain that's part of the reason why you're here, among other reasons, you know. And we've all been giving our own like gifts, whether that be you're an artist or, you know, or you can see dead people, who knows. It's both ways. Like you have that role.
That felt like kind of too personal.
What do you mean? Oh, anyways, I was just throwing it out there. So basically, you are going to feel this energy now. These are the things that could be happening for you. I know this is what's going on with us. One, you're going to be feeling a lot of the energy from the collective. There's a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of purging of old energies where it's almost like, think like a birthing process. Like we're going out of this age of duality and secrets. That's the age of Pisces, like this very masculine age into this feminine age where, do they call it like the age of light as well?
It's the age of light. It's the second Atlantis. People are calling, you know, like this is the golden age. We're running into this amazing rebirth into unity. Period. Mm-hmm. So go on.
Rise in feminine energy. I jokingly would say for years, age of Aquarius, rise of the matriarchy. I'm all about it. But
Well, it is. And we were joking about it because, like, right now, 2020 was projected to have a lot of masculine energy work happening, and it's a lot of us, like, anytime there was like a weird thing up, that's masculine energy freaking out. Okay, because that's what we're processing. Allegedly supposed to be processing a lot in 2020.
Yeah, we're gonna be working on that because there's divine masculine and there's divine feminine. They
Yeah.
both need healed, you know. So that's the one thing. So you have this collective purge, so that like sense of panic, that sense of just the shakeup that everybody's feeling. So you might be taking on energy that might not be your own energy. It might be for the like everybody, like the world. We're all interconnected. So, your job is to clear and transmute that energy, to go into yourself, meditate, call in your angels, your guides, whatever. And then you're going to be feeling your own like healing. Like things are going to come up that you thought you dealt with. And you're processing that. But then in addition, those of you who are like, let's say, awake, you're going to be experiencing the flood of all of that new ascension energy and getting those like upgrades. You might have all of a sudden you're like, I can talk to whatever. I don't know. You can suddenly I'll go back to dead people. You're a medium now. You might get new gifts, and it can be mundane too. It might not be like some spiritual gift. It could be something else. But you see, it helps the collective, like you deciding that you're going to write a book, or I don't know what age you are, but decide you want to become a doctor or whatever it is, like that helps everybody. So it's back to being of service. You want to be of service. We're also, as you're getting those energies, let's say you're awake, I'll stay on topic. You have to assimilate that energy, and then you're holding the light. That's what you're doing. If you feel like go through a part where you feel like you're in a lull, like you don't know what's going on, that energy is being integrated, and you're holding the light for everybody, And then if you are awake, you're being that like way shower, like you're helping. You knew how hard it was going through your process initially. Now you can help other people who are having this like awakening, and that's what you can do like for now. But in that same regard, we want to make sure that we're okay. So this is also a really good time to work on yourself, and don't beat yourself up if you need to do you time, and like go back into having like, oh, I need to go in an energy heal. I need to like do Reiki on myself now, if you're a Reiki practitioner, or I need to meditate. I need to call in. Like that's what all that stuff you learn, like that's what it's for. You don't just do a healing and then all of a sudden you're done. No, like it's process, right?
It's a process, and I want to note that I think it's very important to understand, and like touch on what you just said, that by you taking care of yourself and tuning back in with yourself, you are helping the collective.
Yeah.
By you doing things that make you happy, that raises your vibration, which raises the vibration of the collective. So do it. You want to lay in your bed all day and eat Twinkies? Do it. Makes you happy? Cool. But right now is the time to maintain or start a new mindfulness practice. Meditate every day. 5 minutes. Just start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes every day and see if it helps. It will help. You'll build on it. You'll be in 2 hours in no time. But it's important to focus on yourself right now and get your energy right, raise your vibration, and move forward. Period.
Yeah. So ways to like deal with these new energies, staying present, because right now it's really easy to start worrying about what's going to happen, like what is happening, what is going to happen, etc. Grounding, because of that feeling of insecurity that you might have. Grounding practices, grounding meditations. And initially we were telling people to work on their root chakra, but I am doing all my chakras, and I suggest the same. work on healing all of your chakras, because if one of them is out of whack, it messes the flow up, you know what I mean? So if your root chakra's not doing good, your sacral probably needs it, solar plexus, all the way up. And especially, right now a lot of people might not feel very connected, so use this opportunity to help heal those chakras and get lower and upper chakras back on track. And
See, that's a really good thing you touched on. Like that goes back to the healing or random like thoughts that might be coming up or issues that you think you dealt with. Those might be indicators that you need to work on a specific chakra.
yeah.
Like maybe, and then go back to what we were talking about of the healing that's happening in your dream state subconsciously, and these weird feelings that are coming up or thoughts that are coming up that you thought you dealt with already, those might be indicators that certain chakras need balanced or are out of whack. Period. So that could be like what's happening. Like you did deal with it, but because your sacral chakra is now, only operating at a 14%, you need to deal with that stuff again. So balance your chakras, all of them.
Yeah, just go in and work them all. That's what, like I said, that's what I'm doing now, and it's helping, because I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago I was a complete like wreck. It lasted for 2 weeks, I would say, too. Just
It's normal to, like, when the whole collective's freaking out, for you to have that same panic to a certain extent. Even if, like, you're not a person who's prone to feeding into stuff, and you were crippled by fear and worry and the unknown. And I was too. So like, but I'm a Cancer, That's just how I roll.
yeah,
That's how I roll. Like I'm keen on overthinking and all that jazz, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would honestly say going back. I mean, that's whenever I was meditating so much those 2 weeks. I shifted my priority from being trying to get work done to trying to get myself healed back into a good mental like place, so that I could work on the things that like we're trying to get done. um that's not a fun place to be, but a lot of people are probably experiencing that right now, and it's gonna be okay.
Well, everything's gonna be okay. It's just getting back into energetic alignment to to help combat whatever else is occurring on these other levels.
Yeah,
Because there's definitely levels to all the crap that's happening right now. And see, that's what did me. Like, it's not just the pandemic aspect of it. It's that we are upon, when this all started, we were upon the age of Aquarius and this great ascension that's happening. And the energies that be, that's what did me. You were like, it was all of it. It's just all of it.
yeah, the idea. So to elaborate on what you were saying for our listeners, there are energies that don't want this like ascension per se. That is like a whole other, I feel like, podcast episode. We can touch on it. Like, there's certain lower energies that might feed off of us, and once we get to a higher place energetically, that's where if you guys aren't familiar, that whole idea of 4D, 5D, 6D, they can't get to that point to like, I guess, feed off of us, if that's the best way to say it. They can't influence us when we're vibrating so high. So a good way to stop that would be to make you fearful, which is very low vibration. So that's something else that we're all like dealing with on top of everything else,
Yeah, that was like a very like easy explanation of what's happening. And if you do want us to elaborate further, we can create another episode. But if you're listening to our podcast, you probably already know. Like, believe what you want to believe, but I think that is also what's hitting people too. It's just it's something else. That's it.
like triggers.
It's funny because I'm so used to like censoring certain things that we talk, like we don't cover on here, but we talk about to like, you know, the cruise. But it is important, I know, for people to hear what's happening, hear the truth. You know, light workers, spiritually awakened people, light warriors. Like, it's time to take action. Time to take action.
Yeah. Hold down the light.
Hold the light. Keep the grid. Like, hold the grid. Hold the grid.
Yeah.
And this, you don't have to be an energy healer to be, you know, a light worker. You just shine your light, vibrate high. You are activating. You are helping the collective. You are holding the light.
Yes. Yeah. Back to what I said earlier. Like, if you feel that, that's why you're here. Part of why you're here. I mean, everybody has their own like life journey, but you decided that you wanted to hold down that light. That's all I'm saying. You're what?
You signed it. This is the original code, so it's too late.
I'm holding that contract right now. There's your name. Yeah.
Well,
so,
we all come and we all choose. You know, I subscribe, you subscribe, we subscribe to the. We all choose our journey. We all choose our path, and you decided that, and we're in the process of awakening, and you'll get it, and we will be. Everything's gonna be fine. That's it.
yeah.
I can't say that's it. Like it. I'm just like what are the keywords? Keywords, what people need to hear right now are that everything's going to be fine on all levels.
Yeah.
We're just in a really rough patch and we're living through history. So do what you can each day to keep a routine and to stay positive to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then whenever you feel yourself going into a loop or slipping, that's when you pull out your spirit tools and you go in, ground, get present, work on your chakras, call on your team, that whole thing, meditate. So we were both talking about insomnia. Some of the best times to meditate are in the early mornings. Like literally, seriously.
Hour.
Yeah. So meditate. Just get all spiritual, get all woo-woo, whatever your practice is. Use that energy.
Use that energy, and you don't need anything. You don't need the razzle dazzle. Yes, it's great if you are like there are people like us who are putting energy healing out here for free on YouTube, trying to make it as accessible as possible for people to get this, to get the healing that they need, to the assistance that they need. And that if you have access to, energy healers, maybe if you feel called to, act on their packages or whatever services they provide. But you can just go on YouTube and watch like our videos or other energy healers who are making these these sessions for you that are free. They're at your disposal right on YouTube. We are sending out Reiki constantly, and you can sign up for free on our website if you want to. Like, there's tools out here. Diana Cooper has a full course on YouTube right now for free, no cost. And it's only, I think they're like 10-minute long videos, 13-minute long videos. But so far, I think she's on day 12 or day 13. You can tune into that. It's a bunch of people who are putting out all this assistance to help you to get back on track. Meditate. Yeah. Do a guided meditation before you fall asleep. You don't have to do, there's nothing, there are attainable ways to help, to get help with whatever you're struggling with right now.
Yeah. So I want to close this up, but one thing I'm going to touch on before we end this episode is that it is hard to meditate whenever you feel like there's a lot on your mind and you're disconnected or you're worrying, whatever it is. But those are the times when you need to meditate. Like, and I just want to, because a lot of people, like I've talked to people and they'll roll their eyes, like, I just can't quiet my mind. But what you said, 5 minutes, just give yourself 5 minutes. because you're working through stuff whenever you're doing that, you know.
Just even if only a minute in that 5 minutes that you are completely, you know, you're in a meditative state, that's better than nothing.
Yeah. All right, so as usual, at the end of every episode, we like to send out distant Reiki. I'm going to actually have this Reiki be for the energies that be to help you with this ascension process. So if you're interested in receiving that energy, all you have to do is keep listening. We recommend meditating or sitting in a quiet place. It might make you tired, so don't drive. So wait till you get home. That's it. If you want a free Reiki, or if you would like we do donation-based Reiki. So if you would like a personal session with our donation-based Reiki, you can find that on our website at arlene.com/Reiki. All right. Thanks, guys.